Alright guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about the investment strategy for iconic crystals. So if you're not familiar with iconic crystals, real quick, whenever you craft a legendary equipment, the first step of Awaken is to put an iconic crystal on it. For the most part now, you can only get these iconic crystals during KVK, and you could get one in Lost Canyon. There's others you could get from achievement. I think the max you could get now per KVK is 5, and occasionally or rarely during an event outside of KVK you could get these, but those are like few and far between. I wouldn't actually count on those. Okay, so to understand iconic crystals, first you have to understand how base stats work. If you open your barracks stable, basically to the structure you use to train troops, when you click on the eye on the icon, you can see the stats for T4, T5, T1, T2, whatever this unit type is. This white number on the left is going to be the base stat. So for the most part, no matter what your technology is, the base stat is going to stay the same. The only time when it's different for, say, like a cavalry is if you have a civilization that has the cavalry unit as a special unit type. This green number on the right is going to be the percentage boost you're getting from technology that scales off of the base stats, right? So I added this percentage to the right, but if you're doing 135% of 220, that number is going to come out to 297. Whenever there's like a decimal place, the way Lilith does it is it's going to round down. So even if it's like 297.9, it's going to come out to 297. And then when we add the base stat plus the percentage boost together, that's going to be your total attack stat. Okay, so whenever you get one base attack from this chart here, you're going to get one base stat, right? This one on the left, and then 1.35 points. That's going to be the percentage boost you're getting, and you add them together, it's going to be 2.35 points, right? So if you add these together and you say 3 attack plus 3 base attack versus plus 3 base health, essentially what you're going to be debating is would you rather have 7 attack or 4 health, right? Because Lilith scales down, right? So if you add 3 times 2.35 and you round that down, it's going to be 7. 3 times 1.56, you round that down, it's going to be 4. Okay, so that's in general how it works. Now this technology here in particular, it was towards the end of KVK, my last KVK. So I had max crystal tech, right? Also, like if you look at this green number, each one of you, depending on where you are, whether you're in KVK or not, your tech while you're in KVK, it's going to be a little bit different. And just in general, there's going to be a lot of moving parts because not everyone's gear or equipment is going to be the same. Not everyone's armament is going to be the same, right? And also everyone's technology is not going to be the same. So I'm using mine as an example, but just know it's a little bit different. But for the most part, you get the general idea. All right, so there's also equipment and armaments, right? So when you add this is my equipment right now, my half set. This is my armaments. Obviously, there is a couple of inscriptions that affect it. So well clad, right? I'm going to add that defense into this total stats, but all damage and then smite. It might be another video, but that's going to scale off of your final attack number. So going through this, I had this realization that attack actually might be a little bit more valuable than we've been giving it credit for, because now in the game there's more and more boosts, like all damage boost, skill damage boost, normal damage boost, that will scale off of attack. And for the most part, if you think about it, there's actually nothing that really scales off of health or defense. So there is a additional multiplier for attack that we haven't really been talking about, and it might be worth exploring with another video, right? So when we add all of this together, right, with the equipment and health, so you can see the base stat, base defense and base health is going to be higher now. The number is going to be much higher. So I'll do a before and after comparison, right? This was before with the max crystal tech, no equipment or armaments. This is max tech with equipment and armaments. If you look at the base stat here on the left, it's a little bit different. Obviously the percentage boost is going to be different too. So before, right, there's a huge difference between the attack, defense, and health per base stat you add. And then once you factor in the equipment and the armaments, the number is actually a lot closer. Okay. Now for Cav, the reason why I picked it first is because you get the most health from equipment with Cavs. And when we compare it with Infantry, So this is the infantry, right? I just did the final. I didn't do the before and after. On the left is a base stat. This is a percentage boost, and you can see there's a lot less health. There's a lot less health, well, actually barely any on the equipment for infantry, especially if you do the Eternal Night. If you do the Karak humility, you get some health. So once you factor all of that in, and I'm comparing the cav and the infantry from cav from before and infantry, you can see I'm getting about 1.17 attack to health per base stat I'm adding, and then for infantry, I'm getting 1.47 attack to health, right? So it starts getting really, really complicated because for Archer, it's a different story depending on the armament and the equipment. So like, what's the actual strategy for you to go about this? And we're going to just keep it very simple, because even though yes, you're getting more attack than health, right? So for this one, for example, if you're getting 3 base attack, you're going to get 7 points again, kind of like before. But if you're getting 3 base health, so you take 1.774, multiply that by 3, and then you round down, you're actually going to get 5 health. So for 3 base attack, you're going to get 7 total points of attack. For 3 base health, you're going to get 5 total points of health, right? And the number is going to be 6 health as opposed to 5 for caps. So to simplify this, I think we should just not overthink it. Whenever you have a special talent on the equipment, so right when you essentially crit the equipment and then you get a base stat, you actually get 1 extra point of base stat. So if you are doing an iconic crystal, you should always put the iconic crystal on the special talent first, regardless of whether it's attack, defense, or health, because that 1 extra point just kind of puts it over the top. From there, I think you should still do the normal order that we've been following, which is health, defense, and attack. Maybe for cavalry, the health would be a little bit more valuable, and then for infantry, it'll be a little bit less valuable. There's still that normal damage, all damage, skill damage boost to your final attack stat that I talked about earlier that we could probably factor in, but honestly, it gets a little bit too complex, and I think rather than worrying about these micro optimizations, you should just focus on special talent first, then health, then defense, and then attack. Kind of like just what we've been doing. I don't think it's worth saving an iconic crystal. So if you're saving it for a special talent, or you're saving it so you get a ring, then you can put it to increase the base health, I don't think it's necessarily worth it, just because there's a lot of factors and we're not exactly sure if it's really even that much. Like base health is even better than base attack, especially when you factor in the damage boost I was talking about. What the cool thing with iconic crystals that's different from equipment is if you play enough KVKs, you're going to iconicize all your equipment anyway. So if you craft the right equipment, the order, okay, maybe there's some very small micro optimizations you'll get here or there, but eventually you're going to put iconic crystal on all your equipment anyways. It doesn't matter that much. If you want to be a little bit more strategic, right, you can save up your iconic crystal the same time you're saving up your mats. And a lot of people, what they want to do is they want to craft their equipment or do their refining or upgrades or whatever right before there's a fight. And if you want to do that, okay, fine, save your iconic crystal. I'm not a good hoarder. I'm not good at saving. If I get an iconic crystal and I have a legendary piece of equipment that doesn't have an iconic crystal on it, I'm just going to put the iconic crystal on it. That way, I care about Canyon. I don't want to overthink it. I just want to have the iconic crystal being put to use whenever I get one. All right, but if you did want to be a little more strategic, you can maybe save it and then make sure you put it on equipment with special talent first, just because you get an extra base stat, which actually comes out to, right, like unless it's health for infantry, it's going to come out to more than 2 points of stats most likely for your troop. Okay, so if you watch the end and you got some value from this, please like the video. Also, if you haven't, please subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And please leave any comments or questions. I read all of them. I try to respond to all of them where we can have a productive conversation. And I'll talk to you guys next time.